Hello, welcome back to the boat shed. Today is the 17th of April 2024, and the first thing I'm going to do is show you a couple clips of things that went on earlier in the week, and then I'll get back to where things are as of today. Alright, just a little quick update on this epoxy situation, and I wanted to show you this. Can you see that? And then inside there, chunks of stuff. Up there, chunks of stuff. And all over on the outside of this stem, there's chunks of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know what caused that. But that's what I was suspicious of. And there it goes in the trash. That's what I was suspicious of, and that is, of course, what turned out to be the situation. And that left a little bit of, solid parts, solid chunks material in the bottoms of these. It just fell off the pumps. So, yeah, rather than throwing this stuff away, we will just use it, like I said earlier, for mixing thickened epoxy. But yeah, that's what the situation was. If anybody's got any idea how that happened, if that was something atmospheric, if there was some vapor in the air, if it was too close to a hardener jug, and I don't know. But if anybody's got any real wonderful ideas on that, yeah, let me know. Alright, so I have started on my exhaust tubes here, my fiberglass exhaust tubes, and I had my tripod set up yesterday, and I had the camera set up and going, and I recorded everything that I was doing here. Unfortunately, because I had the camera on the tripod, I was using one of my wireless microphones, and about 60-70 seconds into the video, the microphone died. Presumably the battery drained on it, and I don't know why that was, because they were in the charging case and the charging case was full, so I don't know what happened. But anyway, so I had no audio with all that video. I shot an hour of video, and I would have edited it down just a little bit, but anyway, now it's kind of pointless to go through it. I was thinking about doing a voiceover on it, but yeah, I'll just give you an overview so you get the gist of what happened here. I had some high temperature epoxy that I was going to use, but when I went to go to use it, I was going to do a little test sample here with that epoxy, and so I cut a few little squares here of fiberglass cloth, and I went to use this epoxy, and it was incredibly thick. I mean, it was way thicker than honey. It was not soaking into the glass cloth at all. And so what I did was I put some on here, and it wasn't soaking in. And so I used the heat gun and put some heat on it, and that helped. And I did manage to get it, as you can see here, more or less absorbed into the cloth, but it wasn't a good situation. So here's the stuff I had mixed up. So here's a nice big pot, 10 ounces of epoxy that I just wasted because I decided not to use it. Now, do I really think I needed did I ever really think I needed the high temperature epoxy on this? No, because they make plastic exhaust system parts that are more heat tolerant than most plastics, but still they're not going to be as robust as even a regular epoxy fiberglass matrix. This is the stuff that they use on heat shields on the space capsules when they come back in. It was epoxy and fiberglass and probably some other things in there too, but it's an ablative. So when the epoxy gets hot and burns, the fiberglass won't. I mean, it'll shred off eventually, and that's how it works. It's an ablative surface. And hopefully that's what we'll have here too in this exhaust system. If we lose cooling to our engine and we get raw exhaust coming out through these fiberglass pipes, hopefully it'll last long enough, it'll hold up long enough that we'll have a sensor in the exhaust system to tell us what the temperatures are, and we'll have a warning that buzzer that goes off or alarm that goes off and tells us that that exhaust temperature is too high. So hopefully we can get the engine shut down before the exhaust actually starts getting completely destroyed. But anyway, so here is the acetate material, and I simply wrapped that around here, and you can see it's kind of a stiff plastic, not real thick. I think 3 mils is what this is, but it's a stiff plastic, and it very, very smooth, so it releases easily from the fiberglass. And you can see I just taped the seam up here where it overlapped a couple inches. I just taped it with some Scotch tape. And this stuff is a little harder to get out, but what I do is I take like a wooden dowel, run it down there, and just kind of scrape the inside of the tube, and this tape will peel off then too. But so there's this is 48 inches long, and 51 or 53 inches, however wide that is what I wrapped on here. So that gives me about five turns on here, which isn't enough, of course, and I actually haven't measured it yet to see what the outside diameter is. But we can go a little oversized, because what I plan on doing is when I get my big lathe set back up and running again, putting this on the lathe, and then turning this on the lathe and sanding it on the lathe, and turning it down, sanding it down to whatever outside diameter we need. So yeah, that's going to be 3 1/4 inches actually, or 3 1/2 inches, I guess, actually, for that hose to fit. I think that hose is, yeah, I'll have to measure those to be certain, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty much exactly 3 1/2 inches. So this will go from 3 1/4 to 3 1/2. That'll give us 1/8 of an inch thickness here on the fiberglass. And the stuff in the middle then can be thicker, but we don't know how thick it can be yet, because we don't know exactly where we're going to cut it for lengths and how it's going to attach to things. But anyway, so this is the first. I decided not to get too carried away here and tried to put too many layers on at once. So we've got an edge here that's going to need to be smoothed off, and the whole thing will need to get cleaned up and sanded before we can put the next layer of fiberglass cloth and epoxy on there. But this is supposed to be like a 1/100th of an inch thick, this 10-ounce cloth. So 12 layers or so should be about enough. Depending on how tightly I have these wrapped, it might be 10 layers might be about right. So we'll see on that. But this acetate, now, if you look at this, you can see this just slides on here, slides on this tube, and we'll be able to slide it right off the mandrel, off this aluminum tube. But that's why it's important you get a really good quality tube here to use as a mandrel, because if there's any bumps or irregularities or imperfections in it, this tube is going to hang up on those, and you'll never get it off there. Of course, you want your product to be, or your final product to be nice and smooth. Anyway, you don't want it oblong or whatever, but yeah. So we are probably just going to abandon this high temperature epoxy. It was a nice thought, but yeah, man, that stuff was thick. I suppose if I tried to do it in warmer temperatures, it would be better, but even then, I don't know. I don't know what exactly. They had said it's a laminating epoxy, a structural laminating epoxy, but holy cow, that stuff was thick. So that's where we stand on terms of this exhaust tube, or getting started on these exhaust tubes. We'll need a number of these, and then I'll have to cut them, and I need to make a gooseneck of some sort for the exhaust to go up and then down, come out of the water lift muffler, and then down into the cross pipe that goes into the North Sea exhaust system. So I think what I'll do is just cut these at angles, and then we'll glass over them externally, because once we got the parts done in the angles cut in there, it doesn't matter how large that diameter is on the outside there. The only place it's going to matter is where the where the exhaust hose connects to it. We'll need that to be fairly precise, but we can, you know, lay up a lot of fiberglass on those elbows and joints and U-turns and whatever we need to do. We can make those as thick as we want, and then we can go back over it again too and make it thicker yet. Once we've got our lengths established, we can put more wraps on the whole thing too to make it stronger if we want. The more wraps you put on there, the stronger it's going to be. You know, the longer it's going to last if you do have an overheating situation. Cooling water, you know, is not shooting into the exhaust. But like I said, with the sensor in there, hopefully you can get it shut down within seconds, and it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be an issue. But anyway, that's where we stand on this project. And tomorrow I'll probably sand this and clean it and get some more fiberglass cloth put on there. And yeah, I'll do a measurement too to see exactly how much more I think we're going to need. All right, just a couple of real quick things today. One is this, which is my fiberglass exhaust pipe. And I had 2 layers I put on that were 51 inches long. And it didn't quite give me my 3.5 inches, so I put 2 more layers on, and that's what you're seeing here. I just did that last night, so it's a little soft yet, but that put me at just about 3.6 inches, or just under 3.6 inches. So that will give me an adequate amount. The idea is to chop the ends off this to square it up, put this in my big lathe, and then turn this down to 3.5 inches on the ends here. Or what's going to be used as the ends, because these will more than likely be cut into pieces. But yeah, it's still, see, slides on there nice and easy, and yeah, that's gonna work fine. The next thing I'm working on, I got a sheet about ready to go here, but the next thing I'm actually working on today anyway is getting this batten up here on the raised shear. And you can see I got the batten in place here now. Like I said, the whole boat, along the length of the boat, has a little bit of a curve to it. It's concave down. So we need to follow, well, obviously we need to follow the deck beams. So I've been drilling those holes, and no, I didn't have one here because I had that end, but there's a hole, should be holes here. Why am I not seeing them? Yeah, this one's a little high, I guess. But trust me, there are holes here. And I've got the batten on here now, and it's not absolutely perfectly aligned on those holes. I mean, it may be 1/8 of an inch plus or minus, depending on how it looks up here. But we want it to be fairly smooth up here, but we still have to follow the basic contour of the deck beams. The deck beams will need to be planed from above to get them to nice and flat to meet the plywood when it goes on. But anyway, that's how we're starting this. And now that I've got this batten on here, I've got a line drawn under there. We'll come back with a circular saw, cut this off, and then as we work our way forward, we'll continue on with that. Okay, we're back to the 17th, and here's my fiberglass tube, my first fiberglass tube, and it is to its desired finished diameter. We still need to sand this down. I could try pulling this off and seeing if it, seeing how well this slides off here. Probably should put some gloves on, but yeah, we'll try it without gloves first. Entirely convinced we're recording here. Yeah, I guess we are. Alright, let's see how this goes. Yeah, I need oh, yeah, so close. Let's try it this way. Oh, there we go. There we go, much easier. And then this stuff usually, yep, it releases and it'll peel right out. What I'll do is I'll stick a dowel in there to kind of peel away from the side. And this will just peel right out of there. Okay, so that was successful. Wasn't it, Archie? Yeah, that was a success. All right, I've been continuing on here on the side. Earlier today, I put another sheet on. So we're getting there. We got another slightly less than 2 sheets to put on here, I guess. Because when we get up to the bow here again, we'll have that area that we don't put. Well, actually, that's down below, I guess. Not going to affect it up here. So yeah, it'll be 2 more sheets, 2 more full sheets. Yeah, 2 more full sheets, and then a small piece up towards the bow. But yeah, so we're getting there. Just keep plugging away at it. And I don't know if you can see up here, but I have cut this back some more. Cut this down to close to the height of the deck beams at least. You can see where I ended here. We got that to go yet as we move down along there. I don't know. I'm kind of wondering that flat spot where the pilot house goes might look a little odd, but so be it. When the deck goes on, that'll probably even out just a little bit more too. But yeah, this is going all right. It's funny how much heavier these sheets get when you got a full sheet, then you got all that epoxy and fiberglass on it. It's a noticeable increase in weight. But isn't that right, Archie? It's heavy, doesn't it? But we got them up here. These aren't so bad. I put a couple clips to hold them, you know, that I can set them on, and then kind of get them in position. Get this corner here started, and then get the other corner established its proper height. So this seam is nice and tight, and it's laying where it's supposed to on the shear line here. But yeah, so all is going all right, I guess. Don't really have a whole lot else to report. I ordered some port lights, or some portholes today, or yesterday actually. So next week those will be in. I think I showed you one, you know, way early on that I did as a mock-up, and I think I might use that one. It's a little different than the ones I ordered. It's an oval, and the ones I ordered are more rectangular. They'll go in here, and they aren't real big, but they're opening. So yeah, and I might put that small oval one over here in the head, just to have an opening porthole in there. And then I don't know. I just ordered 4 of them, and that would be enough to do the main cabin here, the saloon. And then we'll probably put a couple in the back, and then of course we'll need hatches too. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I got some of those ordered just to get me started. Obviously I could put them in over there now. So someday if I get really ambitious, and I could start cutting those holes in the side of the boat and seeing how that goes. But I won't be able to do these over here, of course, until I get the plywood on up here. But But yeah, you know, get those fiberglass tubes done, and now that I got the plywood on the sides of the boat here in the engine by the engine room, I could actually start cutting holes there too for exhaust, getting that figured out. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get my lathe going too, my big metal lathe going too, is I've got a little bit of a foundry, so I can cast metals, and I was thinking about casting some bronze and turning some outlets, some through holes for the exhaust. Of course, you can buy them, and yeah, in the long run, it's probably just as easy or cheap to buy them as it is to try to make them. But that's part of the fun of this project too, is doing different things and getting to work with things like that, and then I kind of enjoy that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll give that a shot here down the road. I still don't have that building cleared out enough to get the metal lathe out of there yet, but I'm getting closer. But the weather has just been crazy here. The wind has been blowing just unreal. I don't know, it's almost never stops. It clocks around from one direction, and then we've been having strong easterlies, which is almost unheard of here. But we've been having, you know, 35 to 45 mile an hour winds out of the east, and then it switches around and it's out of the north or the west. So yeah, such is life. But we obviously working in here, it doesn't bother us, but trying to do anything outside is a different story. So I will leave it at that for today.